here at Talladega today and not have to worry as much as a lot of the other drivers are. So go out there and have some fun and try to win a race.
All right, I have to ask, the obvious question. How do you approach it knowing that you've already got the free pass? Eliminator round, here you come. The best of the 8 are going to move on and your name is already there. So how do you approach this monster of a race?
Well, apparently from the back, we figured that part out. That's not ideal. And then really from there, as far as Talladega goes, you got to survive, right? That's half the battle. So we'll play it pretty smart at the beginning of the race. We'll work with our teammate Brad and try to put him in a good position. Obviously, we're trying to get all the fours we can into the next round there. So I'll work with Brad as much as I can. Make sure we're in a decent spot for the end of the race. And then at that point, it's game on. Let's try to win the race.
All right, with you starting at the tail, even though you can be up front in a matter of a few laps, or with him starting up front, who could be at the tail in a matter of a few laps. How do you approach this idea of working together as Team Penske teammates? What can you do today to help him get out?
Well, a lot of different things. Obviously, we'll pit with the same strategy. So when you see this green flag pit stops and all, we'll pit at the same time so we can draft with each other as we get back up to speed. So we'll do that. And then, when there's the opportunity to help push him along, we're going to help push him along. And then other times when, with these times I can win the race, I'm going to try to win the race too, because it's a race, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, we got to work together today. That's what Speedway Race is all about, is, finding some friends out there, work with them, and try to, position yourself good for the end of it. And it's a weird situation, because it's not normally like that as much as it is here. But that's how it works. That's how, when everyone runs the same speed and you're drafted like that, that's how Speedway Racing is.
And remember now, we do want to hear from you. If you've got a question for one of the 4 drivers, let's get one right now.
Hey, I'm like your biggest fan. But number one, this is my first trip to Talladega in a NASCAR race. So I know what it would mean for me to have you win today. What would it mean for you?
It would mean a lot. Unfortunately, winning today really doesn't do much for us.
Right.
Besides just getting a trophy and saying, that part's good enough. Don't get me wrong, that part's awesome. But we don't get any special points for the next round. It doesn't really help us much, which is kind of the bummer. But it's also it's a nice position to be in right now because we're not worrying about it. So it's just a weird kind of race for me because you usually have a lot more pressure, especially at this point in the chase, trying to win a championship. But we want to get a solid finish out of today. If we can win and get a trophy and say you won at Talladega, that's something special. So that's enough reason for me to go out there and try to win it.
And if it wasn't Brad, or maybe Carl, I got to believe that the theory is if you got an opportunity to win, you're going to win. Step on their throat. Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr. I mean, if you can keep those guys from moving on to Martinsville, that's got to be priority, almost number 1 other than getting a teammate in.
And you look at the guys that are in the bottom, 3-4 cars right now, and there's some fast race cars. Cars that have been fast all year, have won races, and if you have the opportunity to knock one of those guys out by winning a race, heck yeah, that's going to make life a lot easier when you go to the next round and hopefully in the homestead. So, when you get to the opportunity right now that someone's down, you got to take advantage of that and try to be able to take advantage of it later on also. So, I'd say if we can win the race and keep some of those guys that we really feel like are going to be contenders in Homestead out, that's a big deal.
Do you wake up in the morning and pinch yourself and go, I mean, this is a breakout year for you. Coming over to Team Penske really just seemed to revitalize you. All of that hype that surrounded you coming into this sport, and now you're there. You're at the pinnacle. You're the guy that everybody is shooting for.
It's really neat, as you talk a little bit like the beginning of my career, I was kind of all over the place and didn't really have a really solid finish. A lot every now and again I'd have a good run, but it was a struggle, and to see all that hard work paying off now is awesome. It's a lot of fun. It makes you wonder if everything's going so well, and you're like, okay, what's about to go wrong? Because everything's going so well this year, and we've had top 5s in every single of the chase races so far. And, gosh, everything's going so well. So we just got to stay focused on what we've been doing. What we've been doing has been good enough to win this championship this year. So we got to keep focused on the same things we've been doing all year, and then not get one of the things that Roger says the most. One of my favorite saying. He says, don't trip over your own press motives. He says, you know, don't get too big-headed about what's going on, and stay humble and keep working hard.
And you have, that's for sure. Do you just love my job? Is that what you're after?
I will totally take the job.
She should probably just come up here and ask the question. Hurry up, come up here. All right, we also got a, you know what, I'm going to move it just a little bit over here. All right, Brett?
She'll take over.
All right, so that's why I moved it over here.
Sure.
Here. Let's do this first. We'll do the personal stuff later. All right, here you go. You're on stage.
Okay, so what I do want to know is, as for you and Brad and your dynamic, he seems so wild and, well, not so, like, not in a bad way. He seems so chill and just go with the flow, and he's good for and ready to go. How does that work as you guys
I don't know if we're actually fairly similar, I think, in a lot of ways, because I've had some run-ins with other drivers about a year ago that some people might say my coach just got in the way there. So I think when you're at an indoor race and someone gets mad, you're so fired up. You've been in the car for 500 miles, you're just pissed off, and you always want to do something. And I understand the emotions. It's hard to control those a lot of times. And usually after a half hour, you're like, okay, I'm fine, you know, and you're okay, and then you want to talk it out. And sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes people get over it, sometimes they don't. But you know, Brad and I, our dynamic works really well. We actually were at the dinner last night at a restaurant around here and just talked about what we're going to do today and you know, go from there.
All right, get your picture taken. I see some people. There we go. So there was 2 fish in a tank. Over here's our next question, Joy. Thank you very much, by the way.
I know you and Brad are teammates, but say he gets wrecked or whatever, would you be willing to have another poor driver, even if it's not in the chase, like David Reagan, win a race, or if you go somewhere else?
You know, if the option's in front of you, that you can say it's one of those ugly bow tie cars or the Ford in front of you, you're going to go with the Ford, right? And I think that's what that option, if that option presents itself at some point, and you can go either way, it's a 50-50 shot on which lane's going to go forward, you're going to go with the blue oval anytime you can, right? And but the other sense of it is, hey, you know, if he's out and all, I really want to win the race at that point, you know. So it's going to be, you know, the strategy will change throughout the race, but if it's one or the other, yeah, we're going to go with Fords all day.
All right, we got time for one more quick question. Right here.
Thank you. Were you surprised to see Ryan Blaney qualify so strong yesterday?
No, it wasn't actually. Blaney's he's a good little driver. He's been doing a great job in the nationwide cars, and you guys seen some talent he showed in those trucks too. So he's someone that it's going to be around for a long time. I'm probably going to be racing him the rest of my career, I'm sure. And you know, he's going to obviously be driving the 21 car next year with the Wood brothers. So I think that's going to be a great deal for him. And obviously get some experience out here in Talladega. It's not surprising that he ran so well yesterday. You know, basically that first round they had, you know, Brad and Blaney both were in there together, so they went together and they would do a good job of getting themselves up there and start up front. So he'll be around all day today. I'm sure he'll be racing hard, and you know, we'll wait and see what happens there. But you know, he's been doing a good job. I think he's impressed everyone so far.
The man to beat in the chase right here, Joey.